We overestimate what we can accomplish in a week, and we underestimate what we can accomplish in a year. I said that line on Sunday, and it seemed to resonate with a lot of people. I'm not surprised because it's actually something that I repeat to myself pretty often. Spoiler, marriages don't happen on dates. And church doesn't happen in sermons, and Christianity will not come alive for you in miraculous moments. Everything that is good is the long, slow work of learning how to love well. And it takes time. In fact, I actually repeated it again later in the week at our church AGM, our annual general meeting. It's when we look back on the year. And this year, we were kind of looking back on the last decade or so. And so I said it again this way: we overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, and we underestimate what we can accomplish in a decade. I pushed the time horizon out even farther, and I think the truth of the statement only got greater. Because here's the thing. We are, all of us, living under the tyranny of the constant now, like all the time. We want our food done in the microwave now. Social media wants us to be aware of what is happening at this moment. Our kids need to be picked up from school today. Everything is always constantly grasping and grabbing for our attention. And that makes it hard for us to think about the long term. And the farther you push the term out, the harder it gets to think about. But that's also where all of the really great things happen in our lives. I don't mean being famous. I don't mean being well-known or respected or wealthy or successful. I'm not talking about that. I'm actually talking about the deepest things that we really care about, we really value as human beings. Things like friendships and relationships. Things like uncovering our purpose and our value and what we want to give our lives to. Things like the big goals that we're going to look back on at the end of our lives and say, that's what I gave myself to. That's where my satisfaction came from. All of those happen in very small increments of decisions that happen on a consistent basis over time. There's a line that I like to use. It's not mine. I stole it from Eugene Peterson. It's the title of one of his books. But life is a long obedience in the same direction. That goes for everything important. Your marriage, my marriage, is not built in romantic candlelit dinners. It's built over learning who your partner is, what they care about, what's important to them, how they receive and understand love, and how you give it to them. And then you make small choices to head in that direction. Your marriage will not be saved because you took out the garbage, but your marriage might begin to be made more healthy because you consistently make the choice to take out the garbage, which will lead you to a less self-centered life, which will lead you into other-centered choices, which will slowly bring you to understand your partner in new ways, to love and care for them in better ways, and to have that reciprocated back you in all kinds of ways. In fact, those decisions, doing the dishes without being asked, to take out the garbage, making sure you look after the kids to give your partner more time, those things may end up in more romantic candlelit dinners. I think of the big things that I've wanted to do in my life. I wrote a book recently. That was a goal that I had. But that didn't happen because I worked really hard at it one weekend to crank it out and get it done. It was something that I wanted to do, I thought about, and then I scheduled out time for myself over 6 months to work on it really consistently, to come back, to do the writing, to put together a manuscript, and then only then to get to work with editors on tearing it all down and building it back even better. Those things that I'm proud of now happened because I made a lot of small choices over a long period of time to head in the same direction. And here's why I think this is really important to understand, is because the longer we push out our time horizons, the more we actually get to dream. All the big things you want to do, a stronger marriage, a new career, that degree you're thinking about going back to school to pursue, all of those only happen not because we dream big, but because we dream, and then we break things down into manageable daily steps. The more you can do that work of chunking it out into daily steps and pursuing that on a regular basis, the bigger you actually get to dream, because you'll accomplish things, you'll feel good about yourself, you'll realize you can do more, and you'll dream even bigger the next time. And then, this is why I think it gets really important, because it actually helps us to understand the journey of faith a lot better. Faith is not big ecstatic religious moments. It's not even big decisions that we make. It's a series of small decisions to live in better ways, to be more kind today than you were last week, to be more generous this week than you were last week, to forgive in slow, small increments of letting go of some of the hurt that maybe has served you well for a time, but it's no longer something you need to carry with you. It's okay to not forgive in a day. Sometimes it takes a year, but that's the point. All of the important things in our lives take time. They take a series of committed choices in the same direction over time. That's life. It's learning how to live and love well, and it doesn't happen in a weekend. It certainly doesn't happen in a week. It doesn't even happen in a year. It happens when we figure out where we want to head and we start one step at a time. In fact, that's the journey of faith, one foot in front of the other, over and over again, slowly becoming the person that you and God want you to become. So, don't overestimate what you can accomplish today, but do not underestimate what you can accomplish through a lifetime of moving in the same direction.